I strongly believe that Hansi Flick will turn Fermin Lopez into a monster in the next season. There were so many talks in the past 8 months on whether Fermin Lopez is going to be having continuity. Could he be sold? Could he be loaned out? But if anything, Fermin Lopez has shown to the world why he will have continuity in this club. He has scored a goal against Mallorca, scored a goal against Shakhtar, a goal against Barbastro, another goal against Getafe, another goal against Napoli, another one against Atletico Madrid, another goal versus Real Madrid, a goal against Valencia, 2 goals against Almeria, and 1 goal against Sevilla. Fermin Lopez went from being loaned to the 3rd division to scoring 11 goals in his first season with FC Barcelona's first team, meaning that he is named now as the 2nd highest goal scorer of this season with Barcelona. The only player that did beat Fermin Lopez in goals has been Lewandowski. And keep in mind, Fermin Lopez did not play a lot of games, nor did he receive a lot of minutes in the past 8 to 9 months. It's very impressive when you do look at the context. The player had a total of 1446 minutes. The amount of starts that he did receive is on the low end with a total of 14. Gundogan, Koundé, Lewandowski, Cancelo, Marc-Andre ter Stegen, Christensen, Lamine Yamal, Araujo, Frankie Kubarsi, Joao Felix, Rafinha, Pedri, Balde all have more starts than Fermin Lopez. I mean, it's crazy, right? Because Alejandro Balde has been out for about 4 to 5 months by now, and he still ended up with more starts than Fermin Lopez. So this is a complete definition of taking advantage of the time that you are given. And I really do feel like that if Joao Felix was never here at Barcelona, Fermin Lopez would have received even more minutes, because I do think that Fermin Lopez can play on the left wing, and it could have been Fermin Lopez and Rafinha interchanging roles every other game. So Fermin Lopez is a proper goal-scoring midfielder. At the age of 21 years old, he has amazing shooting technique and range, and he does have enough technique for carrying the ball, linking up play. He's a really hard worker, and the amount of times Fermin Lopez has been able to score the first goal for Barcelona during games, and when Barcelona really needed a goal scorer, Fermin Lopez was always there. This will be Hansi Flick's Müller, and when you look at the type of goal that Fermin Lopez did score against Sevilla, you can tell that he would make a pretty good left winger. So no longer can we say, yeah, this is a great player to have for depth. It's no longer like that. There are conversations, there is debates on whether Fermin Lopez should be a starter at Barcelona next season. He is definitely in the conversations of Pedri, Gavi, and Lamine Yamal. And again, what makes this so exciting is that Hansi Flick is going to be changing the system. He's going to be requiring new profiles for every position, and Fermin Lopez is the perfect player for him. Opta Jose also stated, Fermin Lopez has scored 7 goals in La Liga in 2024, a record surpassed by only one other Spanish player in Europe's top 5 leagues this year, who is Aspas, with a total of 8. So I am a strong believer that Hansi Flick can turn Fermin Lopez into a monster. This is only a glimpse of what he could do. So there is this opportunity for Fermin Lopez to play as a left winger and also as a central attacking midfielder in a 4-2-3-1 system. Opta has rated Fermin Lopez as the 3rd best player in the league to have the best shots on target per 90 with a total of 1.49. And one word to describe that is deadly. It's strange to me to see that even though Barcelona were struggling so much to score goals sometimes, they never once thought about whether they should have Fermin Lopez as a starter and to play more games and to accumulate more minutes. If you look at the goals per 90 and also with the shots on target per 90 and where Barcelona ranked within the top 5 leagues, they were not that impressive. They needed a boost. Fermin Lopez could have been the answer. And so I do think that going into the next season, Fermin Lopez belongs in the final third. Hansi Flick is going to want a very aggressive, high-pressing type of team. You can imagine, right, that Hansi Flick is going to be so happy to see Rafinha and Gavi as one of his options. But Fermin Lopez will be a surprise, because if you look at his amount of tackles in the attacking third, Fermin Lopez is one of the best with a total of 9 tackles in the attacking third. The only player that does beat Fermin Lopez in tackles in the attacking third is Lamine Yamal with a total of 14. In terms of tackles in the midfield third, Fermin Lopez has 18. The only 2 players that beats Fermin Lopez in the midfield third with tackles is Frankie and Cancelo. Cancelo carries 21 and Frankie carries 23. Fermin Lopez has 18. So like I've said, this is the reason why Fermin Lopez belongs high up the pitch in the final third, inside and outside the box. It is because he carries utilities within him that can be very effective. And so just imagine Hansi Flick forming a 4-2-3-1 system next season. It's going to look something like this. Fermin Lopez can either play on the left wing position or as a attacking midfielder, right? As a 10 between the 2 wingers and in front of the double pivot. I'm just going to assume that Barcelona do complete the move of Xavi Simons, another player that we are going to be talking about in a later video. It's going to be fun to see Fermin Lopez and Xavi Simons share the left wing role. They also know each other, so it's going to be a lot of healthy competition going on there. If Hansi Flick decides to use Fermin as a attacking midfielder, then great, there's more healthy competition there. Players like Pedri and Gundogan would be able to to compete with Fermin Lopez. And Pedri and Gundogan can use Fermin Lopez as a benchmark in terms of intensity. One of the things that I believe Hansi Flick is going to have to work on with Fermin is going to be Fermin's first touch, because I remember there was this play where we saw Barcelona versus Napoli. Barcelona had to defeat Napoli to get into the next round of the Champions League, and we saw a gameplay where Cubarsí had the ball and he saw Fermin Lopez pointing at space. Fermin Lopez can be seen at the bottom right corner. He was pointing and saying, hey, look, pass the ball here, just put it over all the players and I'll run to that space. And so Cubarsí did that, made an amazing world-class long pass in the air. Fermin Lopez was running to the ball, but unfortunately, because of his first touch, he was unable to really adjust himself and shoot in a comfortable way to score the goal, because he ended up having a horrible first touch and then he became unbalanced and the ball went into the air. And so I do think that if he fixes that and he fixes his first touch, which does come with time, because that is what I do mean by him having more technique, I think that if he fixes this, he'll be a even more dangerous player. Because let me tell you, Hansi Flick is going to be asking for way more long balls like this in the next season. We saw this with Bayern back in 2019 and 2020. Cubarsí is a monster at distributing long balls, just skipping the whole midfield and going straight into the attack. You can do something very well between Cubarsí and Fermin Lopez, and we saw a glimpse of that during this match between Barcelona and Napoli. No other player can really give you that. Like the way that Fermin Lopez was running and pointing to that space and going on there and receiving the ball in the first place, Pedri does not do that. Gundogan does not do that. Frankie definitely also does not do that. Gavi, maybe. We have not really seen much of him in the previous season that we have just finished. Hopefully he can do that, but Fermin Lopez for sure has those attacking instincts in him. And so that is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.